Hello. I find it hard to vlog on this couch because our coffee table is super low. But it is 6:00. I'm just looking back over what I planned for myself for today. I realized I didn't put in time for lunch or dinner or anything, which is not the smartest. So I did end up having dinner at around 5 in the middle of my reset. It means I only have about 3 hours now to spend doing some of my activities for the week in terms of admin. So if you didn't catch my last video, I basically put out a video explaining my process for getting set up for the week in terms of having a very busy week in terms of to-do lists and all of that. And I went from 7 very small tasks, well, not small tasks, but you know what I mean, to about 48. And I need to add a few more because as I was going through the reset, going through the house, I noticed a couple more things that I needed to do, so I'm just going to add those in. I'm here now with 62 things to do. I can't believe it's up that high again, honestly. It's sort of a little bit hard to see, but actually, you know what, it sort of makes sense because I said at the beginning of this monthly planning that I'm working in sprints, and when you do software development, you'll work in 2-week sprints. So every 2 weeks you'll set out a big list of things to do. So basically this should be all the stuff now that I do for the next 2 weeks. With that in mind, there's probably a good couple of things missing from this potentially. I'm just going to reorganize those tasks briefly and then get started. The way that I get started with stuff like this, first I'll just do anything that needs to be done ASAP. So that'll be just clearing out the email inbox, making sure there's nothing urgent there, and then anything that is really due sometime tomorrow, has to be done for tomorrow. And then I will go from least time consuming to most time consuming. So I'll organize by context and then organize by time. So I'll start with all of my email tasks and just schedule any of those emails out. And I sort of see this as with Dave Ramsey with finances, the avalanche effect, the snowball effect, where you do loads of little small ones and then move on and roll up the snowball until you're on the bigger ones. I would just rather, I feel it's less overwhelming to do that personally. So that's just my preference for how I like to do that. So yeah, I'm going to get started into that now. I'm going to put on a podcast, but a video podcast onto the TV, and I've made myself some tea. So I'm just going to try and keep it calm, keep it cool for the next couple of hours. Try not to get overwhelmed doing any of this. I don't think I should. If anything, I'm hoping that it will make me feel a little bit less overwhelmed just in terms of things that I need to do. Hey friend.
Hello.
Oh, nice background.
Because I'm in the pod.
It's really cute.
Well, I mean, technically, it's in the background, but
Did you say you're in the office?
yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Let me see if I can change. Take off my see.
Oh, you're in a pod. Is the office totally dead? Providing a little update. I've done more admin than I should have so far in a way. I got my task list from 62 things, I think it was, last night down to 31 things, which is pretty good. And some new things were added in that time. Some new things came through that I just decided to do immediately, because one thing that's important in this is the 2-minute rule, which is if something comes your way that you can do in under 2 minutes, just do it. So like, as you can see, a lot of the tasks, or as you will have seen, a lot of the tasks that I have on my list are 2-minute things, and I have them down as 15-minute things in some cases, just to give myself a bit of extra time. But to stop procrastinating on things like this, what I tried to do is, you know, when my task list is like this, if something comes through, I do try to do it. Now, I'm going to be starting some deep work. It's after lunch, and I would have liked to have started on this earlier today, but I just decided there was a number of things that were really plaguing me, and I think I would have felt stressed if I hadn't done them. So I decided to just go ahead and do those. And then right now I'm going to be going back and editing a draft of a paper which I've been avoiding. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that because I haven't looked at the paper in like 2 weeks, which isn't great. Oh, okay. I can hear you now, which means you can hopefully hear me. Basically, we'll just do a read through of the shorter scene, and I'll send a copy of the shorter version to your mum. For the next 2 weeks, just practice it that way. And when we're practicing on Wednesday, we just practice it that same way. Go from what if it be a poison? So you just want it to be a bit more afraid. So it's like we go from that sort of part to being, what if it be a poison? So really get the word poison across. What if it be a poison, which the friar subtly had ministered to have me dead? I fear it is. Need more from that. I fear it is. So build up the is. Build that up a little bit higher in terms of pitch. I fear it is. And yet, methinks it should not. So what I'm working on for my PhD today is basically trying to add a new feature to my data set for analysing the races, and essentially what we're trying to add is an understanding of what proportion of a runner's training week was spent in different zones related to their marathon pace. And that's sort of a complicated task because the way the data will be laid out, like in the raw sense, we'll have one column that's a load of arrays of paces, and we basically need to filter that by the marathon pace, like bucket it into different buckets, like whether it's 60 to 80% of marathon pace, 80 to 100% of marathon pace, whatever way you want to do it, and then group together all of those values and do some sort of count of how many there are for each window, basically. So it's a little bit complicated, and it's trying to figure out what is a good way to do that. So like one option would be to explode the array, and then we'd have a bunch more rows with just the pace information. The problem with that obviously is that it will be a lot more storage, and I think the data set of sessions already is probably made like a couple million rows already. So it would mean then multiplying by maybe another 50 to 100 times, possibly more. I'm trying to think average, let's say on average there's 10k sessions, which would mean, so yeah, just trying to figure out basically how to do that. So I'm doing a bit of research. I sort of sketched out the idea already on my iPad, just to like trying to formulate it in my head first, like what is it that I needed to do. And now I'm like looking up different potential ways that I could do that in terms of coding, and then I'll actually go back and go into the code and try and figure that out. Hello everyone, we're back with another Tuesday cooking experience. So I think one thing that's really important for me when it comes to self-care is making sure I take care of myself in terms of food. So today as well, I just felt like I wanted to do something nice. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, but I do really like cooking. I know a lot of people don't, but I do actually really enjoy trying new food and trying to cook things and just experiencing different foods. So I'm going to make a recipe that I hadn't made before but that my mom had made a couple of times, which is lamb burgers. And I just feel like there's something about just like spending some time cooking and like filling yourself with like nourishing food that is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Hello everybody, so it is Wednesday. I'm just going to turn this light on so you guys can see better. Adjust. Okay. So it is about 8:30. I was up this morning around 6, went to the gym, came home, just like did some meditation on the way home, like with the Calm app, and just did my normal like morning routine stuff. So shower, breakfast, all of that. And now what I'm doing is some admin work. I have decided to sort of rearrange my days a little bit this week. I've been finding, because there is just a lot of admin, I've been finding that because I'm a little bit overwhelmed and stressed about it, I've just been finding that it works better to spend some hours in the morning doing the admin, and it just means I can focus better in the afternoon because I'm not thinking, oh god, I have this coming up or I have that coming up, or anything like that. So I've just been finding that's working better for me. Last night I just did a really nice self-care routine, and I'm really glad that I did that because I think when I have one of these weeks like what I have going on right now, it can be sort of easy enough to get into the habit of just keeping going. And I've done this before where I've just decided, okay, well, I could, stop now and do my self-care, or I could keep going and try and get more of this stuff done. But the problem with doing that, if I was to have gone home last night and just continued to do admin, like there's plenty that I could have been doing, what would have happened would have been that today I would have woken up, felt like crap, not gone to the gym, and then felt like crap for the rest of the day and probably not got as much done, so that by the time I get to classes this evening, I will not want to be there. I won't be able to give myself fully to the classes, and then by the time it comes to my holidays at the weekend, I will be basically just trying to recover, which is not what I want. I want to just be able to enjoy my holidays and like really be present for them. So I did my self-care last night. I did my self-care this morning. I really tried to spend as much time away from my phone as I could. There was one thing that happened. We had a small incident in one of our classes, so I had to do a little bit of sending on an incident report to a staff member just to fill out. That was fine. Other than that, I really did stay away from my phone for the evening, and this morning I've only just started looking at emails and stuff now. Yeah, I just wanted to check in with you. Basically what I'm looking at right now is how can I get some of these projects gone. I want to try and finish as much of these projects as possible. So I've still got 13 Q1 projects, and I want to see what can I do to just clear these and try and get as many of them off of my plate as possible. So I'm looking at the tasks for each of these and seeing, okay, what is it that I need to do? So there's like one collab, for example, I just need to send the invoice, but I'm waiting to hear back from the person about that. So like I'm confident that will be done by the end of these 12 weeks. My next collab I need to film later on today and edit tomorrow and send off, and then it's being posted next Wednesday. So again, I'm comfortable that that's going to be done by the end of the 12 weeks. But then there's a few small things that I could do. So for example, in terms of finishing touches around the house, I've ordered a bunch of stuff. There's one more thing that I need to order. I just need to add now. And then it's like organizing a few things. So I think later on when I'm feeling like a bit burny outy, I will do organizing of these desk drawers, and then also the bathroom. We got this thing to put all our stuff in. So I'm going to do organizing of that. And then me and Jack together need to work sometime at the weekend or next week on a couple of building projects. So that's that. So again, confident that those two things will get done. This is actually a Q1 one as well, so that means I actually have 14 projects. There's a few things I need to do for our trip to New York, so I could try and get that done today. And then there's a few things I need to do to wrap up term 2 of drama classes, which ends today. I'm going to do that tomorrow, send out a big newsletter of everything that went on, send out all of the performances. So that's all going to go down tomorrow, which is a public holiday, and I will be spending, I think, probably about 8 hours working tomorrow anyways. Also that I can take a consecutive 48 hours off at the weekend, which will be really nice because I haven't done that at all in 2022. Yeah, summer courses, I don't know, am I going to get to that today? Probably not. And then term 3 setup. So I need to contact a few people, I need to reply to a few emails, and I need to put up some posts on social media to promote our 3rd term of classes, which is going to be 10 weeks. And I basically need to make sure that we're set up as well as possible between this week and next week, because I'm going to be away next weekend, which doesn't feel real yet because we have to take a COVID test before we go. So it's just like in my mind, it's like not happening next weekend. And it's the first time I'm going to be away in 2 years. So I suppose 2.5 years at this stage. So it is very exciting.